It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. And it can only do that if you actually send us your questions. So all you need to do is go to our website. That's jillonmoney.com. Jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. When the form pops up, just complete it. And, that's just a plain old email. But if you'd like to come on the show live with us, check the box at the end of the form, and Mark does everything else. So let's do some emails. I got to get through this inbox. It's crazy. Here's a note from Marilyn. Wants to know the best way to put money aside for her daughter. So Marilyn is a listener on 98.9 The Buzz in Rochester, New York. I do hits for them every Wednesday morning. Mark, it's an FM station. I just have to say the funniest segment that they do, and I always call in early so I can hear it. It's called the Judgment Zone. So they have like a morally complex situation. The listeners then vote on whether the person was a jerk or justified in the action, right? And it is sponsored by like the personal injury law firm of Rochester. So it's a great segment. So jerk or justified, I would check that out if I were you. Okay, here's a question. I heard you say that if you save $100 a month into a particular account while in your 20s, you could have $1 million for retirement. What type of account is this? I'll tell you the truth. I know I didn't say that. Let me say that. If you start early with many investments, you can accumulate money, but $100 a month probably is not going to get you $1 million anytime soon in retirement. The bigger question is Marilyn wants to put aside money for her daughter for when she retires, but that she could also use if an emergency were to occur. What type of account would you suggest? She currently has funds going into a 401k through work. She's 21. I'd have to know a lot more about your situation. If she needs an emergency reserve fund, she should create one. If you want to put money away for her, you could maybe encourage her to open up a Roth IRA, and you can put the money in there for her if she wants, but then she could not access that until she's retired. So I don't know. I need to know a little bit more about you and let us know if we can follow up and give you some help. Okay, question. This is from Emily, who wants to know, how do you know when to do a Roth conversion? Hi, Jill and Mark. I'm 27 and I have $40,000 in my traditional IRA, and I've got $70,000 in a Roth IRA and $13,000 in a Roth 401k. My husband and I are saving to buy a house this year. Our income is $225,000. She's 27. Wow. I'm wondering when is the best time to do a Roth conversion. I'm young. I know this would give me years of tax-free growth by biting the tax bullet now, but it's hard to consider in light of more pressing goals. I'd love your thoughts. Well, look, you could do a little bit at a time, but if you're saving for a house and you know that you need that liquidity, you might have to put the Roth on hold. Maybe don't do it right now. Don't do that conversion. If you have a need for your liquidity, you absolutely can't soak that up by doing a conversion. So maybe just wait till after you buy the house and then start doing it a little bit at a time. Okay, this next message is from Adriana, who says, love listening to your podcast. It's so helpful. We are a 54 and 55-year-old married couple with a college sophomore and a senior in high school. Our joint incomes are, ding, 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 $430,000. Wow. We save the max on our 401ks with the catch-up provisions because we're both over 50, a total of $50,000. So 401ks, they got 900 grand. Cash and investments, 137,000. 25,000 in 529 college fund total for both kids. Little here as I was stay-at-home mom for 10 years. Okay. So we are taking out loans to get these kids through college. Oof, Mark, $40,000 a year. At age 60, in 4 years, we will start collecting $2,000 pension, which we plan to use to go to to pay down the student loans, and then they're going to hopefully work till they're 65. What's up with these people with I got to tell you, Mark, that makes me insane. They do make a lot of money, but they don't have that much money. Let's talk about the money they have in cash and investments. 70 grand of that 137 is in a Vanguard account. She says, I've purchased some exchange traded funds and individual stocks when they hit 52-week lows. All right. So now the 70 grand that I put in is now 77. I want to pull out the gains without touching principal so that I could put that towards student loans. How is that taxed? Okay. So can we just have a moment for a second? Why don't you just sell the whole account out? And then you don't have to worry about the loans. You can just use that to pay down the loans or some of the loans. So if you have a gain and that gain is created within a 12-month period, a calendar year, that is just ordinary income. It's taxed the same way as if you made $7,000 extra. So if possible, we would not want you to actually pull out any money that is a short-term capital gain. You'd want to wait for a long-term capital gain. But here's a bigger question that I would ask you. I like that you have some money in cash. You don't have that much, but I mean, if you are thinking about where you stand, maybe what I would do is that in 4 years, you're going to have $2,000 of pension, right? $2,000 a month. Maybe you could actually cut into the amount of debt that you're accumulating. And I don't know what the cost is because I think these parent loans are pretty expensive right now, Mark. What's the rate on a federal plus loan rate? Let's see what that is right now. Yeah, this is like for real. Okay. So it's like over 6%. Listen to this. Direct unsubsidized. Listen to this. Direct plus loan, Mark, for undergraduate, direct subsidized loan, 5%. Direct unsubsidized loan for a graduate or professional school, and the plus loans, parents and graduate or professional students, 7.5%. That's a lot of money. What do you think about blowing out a portion of the Vanguard account?
40 grand a year for 2 kids. I mean, that's just going to be a small dent. I mean, it's a lot of money each year. 160 for each child?
I don't know. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's 40 total. I hope so. I don't know. I need to talk to you. Anyway, let me just answer the actual question. The actual question is, how does a gain in an investment account get taxed? If you hold it for less than a year, it's a short-term capital gain, which is ordinary income rates. If it's more than a year, then you're at long-term capital gains rates, which for you guys is a real number because you actually make a lot of money. So for you guys, for married filing jointly, you'd be paying 15% long-term capital gains rate, but because you earn more than $250,000 together, you have to pay an extra 3.8%. So 18.8% is your long-term capital gain rate. I want to talk to you, and I need to talk you off the ledge of this game plan. I don't like it.
If they're going to take out parent plus loans, if they're going to be on the hook for this, then there's no way I would take out 40 a year. I would have their retirement contributions, and maybe pay for half of it out of cash flow.
I agree. I don't like this game plan at all. I want to talk to you. You don't have that much money, and that $2,000 a month in your pension, you could be using that to beef up your retirement. They also didn't mention how much they're spending in just total expenses. Anyway, get back in touch with us. We'll get back to your questions in just a minute. It's Jill on Money. All of our information lives at jillonmoney.com. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and it is our delight and pleasure to talk to you every single week. But if you'd like more of us, me and Mark, then you should subscribe to both of our podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, and it comes out every single day, 7 days a week. And the other one is called Money Watch, which comes out twice a week. So much fun to have with us. All of that information and the relevant links are on our website, jillonmoney.com. Okay, right now, let's talk to Sarah. She's on the line from Washington State.
So I wanted to talk today because I am a federal worker and I'm really quite nervous about some of the looming uncertainty around the debt ceiling. And I wanted to talk to you about how to pursue my financial goals amid a lot of looming uncertainty.
That is so hard. That's so scary. Is this your first time living under that, the potential sword coming down, or have you done this before?
So I have been with the government long enough to have been through a few shutdowns. So it has happened in the past, but this one is different, I would say. The other shutdowns, even the longest one, which was, I think, like 32 days or something. This one is more unprecedented, I guess, in terms of what's going on around it, as opposed to just a budget not being approved. So it seems like no one really knows how everything will be affected, if agreements aren't reached, if a new debt ceiling isn't reached. And so it felt like there was a lot of news of, hey, we're driving off the cliff here without the debt ceiling being raised, and now we're in extraordinary measures. And I feel like most people, if they knew their employer was operating in extraordinary measures, they might be pretty nervous.
That might kind of freak you out, kind of, sort of. Yeah, I would say so. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so we can try to help you prepare. It's not like the worst thing in the world to prepare for this, and hopefully you don't need to like pull out your break the glass plan. So let's figure out what's going on for you.
Right. So, I think I'm in a pretty good place. I have a mortgage. I bought a house a couple years ago. My monthly expenses are pretty modest otherwise. Primarily, the situation I'm looking at is, I've got about 6 months worth of savings to cover my monthly expenses. And so at this point, I was really hoping to either pay down my auto loan or, start putting more money into the brokerage account. And none of these now feel like good ideas because...
wait a second. Let's go back. Come on. You're freaking yourself out. How old are you?
Okay. I am 43.
Okay. You said you have a mortgage. How much is your house worth?
My house is worth about $580,000.
How much of a mortgage remains?
$300,000.
What's the interest rate?
3.125.
It's a 30-year?
Correct.
Okay, great. Are you single, partnered, married?
I am single, no kids.
Right now, how much money do you have in that emergency reserve fund?
I have about $40,000 liquid.
Great. And how much you earning right now?
About $130,000.
That's great. So how's your cash flow? You put money in retirement? Are you using the government's retirement plan?
I am, yes. I think I'm putting away about 12% right now.
Okay, good. How much is in the retirement account?
So the retirement accounts, I have an old IRA from a different employer and a little Roth IRA, and combined right now there's about $115,000.
Are you part of a pension plan as well with the government?
Yes.
Tell me more about that. I'm excited. See how I get my sexy voice on? Tell me more about that pension.
I regret to tell you, I honestly don't understand the pension very well.
How long have you been with the government?
About 6 years.
You don't have to do this right now. Do you think that you have some longevity in this position? In other words, let's presume we get through this shutdown, you get paid your back wages, whatever it is. Do you want to stay there?
Yes.
Okay. So when we get on the back end of this, or if you have a friend in HR, I would start getting your arms around what the pension system looks like for real. How long do I have to stay here to be vested? That's your first question. So how many years to vest? Then if I were to stay here for, let's see, you're 43. If I were to stay here for 20 years, what is the benefit? Like how do I cash in on this, and what is the exact benefit? That's what you really want to know. It's usually like a calculation, which is you have to have 20 years in, you have to be a certain age, and then it's some fraction of what some percentage of your highest 3 earning years or something like that. And there's a formula. And you should know that formula is especially because, you are able to save money in a thrift savings plan. That's all well and good, but maybe it's better not to necessarily do it that way. Maybe you want to have it outside of retirement because you'll have a stream of income potentially. So I just think we need to know more information about that. Okay, so in addition to the $40,000 liquid, the retirement assets of $115,000, what else is in your asset base? Anything else?
Not much, no.
Okay, that's fine. That's great. How much do you think you spend? You said that 40 grand liquid, how many months is that? 6 months?
Roughly 6 months, yes.
And you feel good, like your cash flow is okay, right?
Yeah, I feel okay about it.
Okay. I think if you're really nervous, okay, I want to just calm you down for a second. Even if the blank hits the fan, you're not going to be out of work for 6 months. You're just not, okay? And you'll get your money back. That said, what I would do is you're putting 12% into your retirement account. Instead of increasing that for right now, I would just try to stockpile some more cash because I think it sounds like you're very nervous. And if you're nervous about it, that's what's going to keep you sane because then you're not going to worry. You're going to be like, I mean, I don't know if you're the type, there's like different levels when you get furloughed. There are people who actually have to come into work for free, which sucks. And there's people who are like, stay home and don't work, which also sucks, but you don't get paid. None of those people has ever had a problem recouping the money that they are owed. The government will make good with you. But if you're really nervous and you don't want that money tied up, then I would just pad your savings. And, you know, a funny thing will happen. Either you'll say, oh, this is silly. I didn't need $50,000. So then you can invest it. Big deal. You're okay. You know, you really are okay. And in fact, you know, if you're this kind of a person anyway, you may want to have a little extra money in liquid assets. That, you know, if that's kind of if you're constitutionally feeling like I'm a little nervous, generally speaking, so have more, like, instead of having 6 months, have 9 months. And, you know, it's okay. Not every dollar that you have has to be perfectly allocated and invested and maximizing. Like, sometimes peace of mind and sleeping at night counts for a lot.
That makes sense.
All right. What else do we have to do for you to make you happier?
I think that's it. That was helpful. I guess the only other question I had was, do you have any additional suggestions on kind of low risk places that one might put money while they're worried about uncertainty?
Absolutely. So, you know, look, I think that it would, if you were really worried, you can get like a CD. You can go to depositaccounts.com. Right? Depositaccounts.com. And you can look and see there's like different savings accounts. There's different money market accounts. There's different, you know, short-term CDs. And you can earn a lot of money on your money right now, which is amazing, right?
Yeah, I think I'm getting about 3.4 with a savings account with Capital One right now.
Great. So don't worry about it. How much more do you want? It's risk-free.
Yeah.
Go for it, girl. I think it's good. I think you're good. I really do. Okay.
More importantly, find out about that pension.
The pension will give you the greatest peace of mind. It'll certainly give me peace of mind. If you're worried about something going on in the news cycle, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we will hold your hands. It's not so bad. It's very easy. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. And hey, we've got a brand new service you should check out. It is called Jill on Money Live. For $35 for a calendar year, you will have access to 4 quarterly live webinars and more special content. I think you really would like it. If you like the show, you'll love joining us live. Right now, let's talk to Marta, who's on the line from Texas. Hello, Marta. What's going on?
Hi, Jill and Mark. I'm just very glad to be here. So good to hear you and be able to take this time to work through some of these things with you.
Fantastic. I like this also. I want to be candid that I started this day grouchy, and with each caller, I've been happier and happier. It's just, I realize more and more that I do this, that I so enjoy hearing your stories, you all, and that it's like really, it's very fulfilling for me. So it's all about me today. No, I mean, it's about you, but it's like your stories are awesome. So what is your story? How can we help you out? What brings you to us?
Jill, this is your calling. I'll just say that. And it's nice that you found it. I turned 68 this year and I have a fabulous job. However, I keep thinking to myself, there might be the other things out there that I could be doing. I could get a dog,
Yes.
I could go on more hiking trips. So in my last performance review just this month, or January, I talked to my manager about going part-time next year in 2024. And
how was that received?
Oh, they're all on board. They're like,
really?
Yes.
Now, why is that? Because then you don't have to get benefits?
Well, it's a couple of things. The industry that I'm in, aerospace, we have an aging International Space Station, and it has an end of life expectancy, and it's hard to get these brand new engineers out of college to go into supporting that part of NASA when there's lots of other exciting commercial space programs going on, and they can get their feet in on the ground floor of some really wonderful programs. So for someone like me to stay on, they're delighted.
Oh, that's awesome. How much do you earn right now, Marta?
My income is $140K.
And is that good for you? Does that pay your bills? Life good? How do you feel about it?
Oh, yeah.
Good. In this company, are you entitled to a pension?
Not for me, no.
Okay.
My husband is civil servant, federal employee, so he'll get a pension. He and I work together, but I do not. I'm
okay. How old is your husband?
He's 51.
I can't even tell you how happy I am right now. I cannot even tell you how happy I am right now. This is by far the best call of the day. All right, Marta, tell me, how much does he make?
He makes $156K.
And he'll get a pension. What are the terms of the pension? Like, where does he have to get to in order to claim it?
I don't know all those details, to be frank.
But he will collect a pension, and you've been working for a long time. So how much money do you have saved? And, do you combine everything?
No.
Or do you keep things separate? How do you deal with it?
We have kept things separate.
Okay. So tell me about the money that you have accumulated.
I have in my investments, and I'll break it down, but it looks like I have $912,000. So I'll break it down. I have a 401k that has, we'll say, $220,000. And there's a Roth in there I only just started putting 15% into the Roth. That's the only contribution I've been making now. It's a 15%, and there is a match.
How much is in the Roth?
The Roth has $26,000, and then the IRA with the employee match has $179,000.
Wait a second. Did you just say 220? Was that 220 including the Roth and the pre-tax?
Yes.
And now tell me more. So beyond that.
Okay.
Beyond that, let's do it.
Then I have a rollover IRA that's managed. I have two managed accounts through Fidelity, and the rollover IRA is $453,500.
Let's call it 453. Let's go crazy. Okay.
And then there's an inherited IRA.
When did the person die?
2012. Okay, so I've been taking
the stretch.
So I got to take. I have to take the required minimum distribution every year. Right now, it actually does really well. But right now, it has 86,000. We'll call it 780. I also have a deferred annuity, and
what's the deferred annuity?
Okay, the deferred annuity is it's insurance my parents bought when I was born, and then when it stopped earning any money, I put it in this deferred annuity so that it could start making money again. So there's 16,400 there.
16,400, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else is out there?
The HSA is little, about 3,000. And then I guess I would say cash on hand. I have a brokerage account. There's some stock from a company I used to work with. It makes dividends. So I have put more cash in there because the plan in talking with my advisor, it was let's get some cash on hand. So I have in a individual TOD is 63,000. And
Nice.
then we sold some out of the rollover IRA. We got some short-term allocation of another 60,000.
Okay.
Well, the idea was, if you have to fund yourself for 2 years before you turn 70, let's get that cash. And then now, so in my bank account, I also have over 17,000.
So
I'm trying to save up another 60,000 just to have as an emergency.
That's good. What's the game plan? You want to work part-time. How much do you think you would earn working part-time?
Yeah, that's the key. It would be hourly. If I keep my same, they basically say, you can't tie us to, only 20 hours a week or only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You need to be, if we're going to do this, you need to be flexible and let us, use you.
Well, let me ask you, how much do you think you're going to earn?
Let's call it 70,000.
Okay.
But my question is, maybe the game plan was, let's talk this in 6 months. Mm-hmm. And so, because I said, let's see if we're going to be in a recession, which would definitely flavor my decision to stay on. But if we're not, am I safe? Could I just walk away?
We'll get back to Marta in just a second. This is the Jill on Money Show, and we will be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and so often when we get these questions from you, it does resonate with everyone else. But if you want specific advice to you and tell us your story, then you should give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. You never know, you might end up in my next book. You can buy my current book, which is called The Great Money Reset, on our website. So go check that out. All right, let's get back to Marta, who is on the line from Texas. When you say walk away, are you saying walk away with this part-time income? Or are you saying walk away like with nothing, like just out?
Fully retire at the end of 2023.
What are your expenses for real?
For real, it's about less than $5,000 a month, so we'll call it $60,000 a year.
And what will your Social Security benefit be?
At 70, my Social Security is $4,000. I wrote this down somewhere. Okay, sorry.
$4,000-ish. I'm pretty sure you can do this. I think you'll feel better if you do it working part-time for like one more year. But if you were to walk away right now, okay, then you would have plenty of money. You would have to spend some of your cash on hand just, again, at the end of the year, you said you're trying to aim to beef up that cash on hand. You'd spend some of that. You'd be able to claim Medicare. You got, a year and a half, 2 years before you can get your Social Security, and then you're golden. Yeah, you're good. And what about the housing situation?
So we have a house together, and that is his property in the will. Now, I have another house, my childhood home, that I rent out to NASA interns, and that is going to go.
This woman's got it.
That's going to go to, it's actually a labor of love. I want to say it's more trouble than it's probably worth, but it is my daughter's inheritance. So I have a ladybird deed, they call it, enhanced life estate deed. Yep. So she will get it if I die.
That's good. It's all written down, and you guys are common law, but you also have estate documents somewhere.
We have one more form to file with the county that will make
Okay.
it all legal.
Oh,
but
good.
we have each other named as spouse on all of our
Okay.
all of the documents, and he will be my savior on my medical insurance because I'm going to go on his plan.
Oh, so you're not even going to go on Medicare.
No.
Oh, you know what? You got plenty of money. You're fine. Now, that is not to say that you shouldn't work part-time. Can I just say that one more time? Because it sounds like you're a worker. He's working. And like maybe it's actually good for you to work. Again, a transition year. I'm not
I
saying
know.
forever, but just
That
in
is
case,
yeah,
right? Like it's very
right.
sudden. It sounds like have you been working your whole life? Sounds like yes, right?
Right.
So, I mean, going from full-time working all the time to not working, I don't know. That's a pretty big transition. I think it would be kind of cool if you could. And again, as you said, you kind of want to see, I almost would feel better if you not like, don't make it recession predicated, but maybe make it predicated on like, if you can really feel good about the part-time work, if it's not going to be too like all over the place. Because I mean, here's the part that I hate about part-time, that often people end up working part-time and they're like, oh, I'm actually working full-time and just not getting paid for that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't want that to happen for you. But if you can make this work, I think it'd be kind of good. The partner is so much younger and working. Would it be weird for you to like stop completely while he's still working his butt off? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's fine.
No, that you're spot on. You're so good at this, Jill.
Oh man, I love it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That is what I've been contemplating.
Yeah.
This is such a part of the fiber of my being that how will I make that transition? So I was
It's
really
hard.
glad that they were so open. They didn't used to be open to part-timers, so I'm really glad that they are.
Yeah, I think this is, listen, when I write about this in the book, it's so funny. I was just talking to somebody who was interviewing me and they were asking me very specifically, this dude from Reuters, he's like, well, what's plan B? What's plan B? I'm like, well, generally I like plan B to be like, can I get an off ramp for retirement? I feel like this is like a gentle off ramp. And that you can, right? And then if possible, again, it's not necessary because I do believe you can do it. So if they change their minds and be like, hey, here's 6 months severance, bye, thanks. You'll be fine, but I think that you are in very good shape. And in some respects, I want this to be more about what you think you need more than what they need from you. And if you can make this work, man, I'd do it. My off ramp is that I want to keep doing my audio work with Mark, build up the Jill on Money community, do that. But I don't want to have to worry about, who's the next producer who comes in and says, I like her, I don't like her on TV. You know what I mean? So my off-ramp has always been about making sure that I build up our community, really create something here that is more sustainable for a longer period of time. By the way, like also, it's nice to just be focused on something and knowing that it's sort of time sensitive also for you. And I think that could be really, really helpful. It sort of makes going to work a lot different. It really does.
Yeah, my husband's just like, you just can't sit on the couch and eat bonbons all day. That's just not there.
I know. And you wouldn't. Also, like, it doesn't strike me that most people who are in your situation are the types who would do that. So I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think you're good. If you would like to chat with us about something going on in your financial life, it's as easy as a few clicks. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, tell us what's going on, and then check off the box that says you'd like to come on the air live. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. And One way that we do that is we encourage you to send us your financial issues that are bubbling up. You can just do that by going to our website, jillonmoney.com, and clicking the Contact Us button. Okay, so let's close out first hour of the program with an email. This is from Pat, who writes, we have about $520,000 spread across 2 money market accounts at Fidelity, SPAXX and FZDXX. Both of these funds are yielding about 1%, kind of standard in the money market world. Okay, so let me get back to Pat's question, who writes, I don't really understand how or if those funds are protected against loss. Can you help? Well, obviously, this question comes on the heels of bank failures and a lot of conversations about FDIC insurance. In the securities world, meaning the investment world, there's not FDIC, there is SIPC. So Securities Investor Protection Corporation. And that protects against the loss of the company that holds your accounts. And the limit of protection is $500,000, which includes a $250,000 limit for cash. So it's cash and security. So it's sort of similar in terms of the amount of money as FDIC, but they're different, FDIC and SIPC, because remember that the SIPC protection is not protecting the value of the security. It's just protecting against the company itself going broke. Now, that said, I don't think Fidelity is going broke, but it's a good question to ask. If you've got $500,000 and this is in a joint account, then you are covered, you're fine. But here's a question for you. What else is in this account? Because clearly you could do better things with your cash in order to generate a higher interest rate. But for your general question, it sounds like, because you mentioned 2, that you guys are fine. Okay, this is the Jill on Money Show. We've got a whole nother hour to go. Everything you can find about us is on our website, jillonmoney.com. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money Show, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. If you need a little assistance, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Let's start with Kathy, who's on the line from the Mid-Atlantic. Hello, Kathy. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Jill. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband's a longtime listener. He recently introduced me to the podcast, and it actually comes at a very opportune time. We have a life change ahead and questions around financial choices to make around that transition.
Okay. I love life changes. That's like the whole book is about life changes. So I'm excited for you guys. So first, you mentioned a husband and you. How old are you guys?
I'm 53, and my husband is just slightly younger, just turned 50.
Oh, I love the younger man thing. It's a much better model for statistically. Okay. So Kathy, what's the life change that is about to happen?
Well, at the end of this year, I will retire from my career with the federal government after 24 years. And, just going to try take a little sabbatical is the plan, and then just try something new. But lots of choices to make, or maybe not lots, but a couple of choices of which I have some questions for you specifically, and then just getting a sense of how you see us doing financially right now as we prepare for this change, and then later in life, retirement.
So you're a 24-year veteran with the federal government. When you retire at the end of this year, what will your pension benefit be?
Yeah, I will have a pension of about $5,200 $5,200 a month. I mean, actually, it's about $5,700 a month. That includes a Social Security supplement that I will get until I'm 62. When that stops, it'll be about $4,500 a month.
Okay, so at 62, it goes to $4,500 a month. And then what's your full Social Security age, and what would your benefit be then? Would it be 67 or 70? What is it?
My full will be at 67, and that'll be about 3,200. If I delayed it to 70, it would be about 4,000.
Okay. And when you call it quits and do your sabbatical at the end of this year, does your husband continue to work?
Yes, he does.
Okay. How much does he earn?
Well, he currently earns about $150,000. He probably will step it back a little bit. So I wouldn't plan for the $150,000. I think maybe 75% of that. At least I'm hoping he scales it back a little bit.
Why don't we just say 100? Why don't we say that in 2024, he's going to earn 100? Let's look at it that way. Okay. And how much have you been earning? Like when you look at this year, what has been what are your earnings for this year?
Mine have been about 150,000.
You guys are young. Do you have kids? Do you have grown kids? Do you have pets? What's going on?
None of the above right now.
All right. It's time for you to get a pet for sure.
Oh, don't say that. My husband that is his dream. And maybe that dream will come true, just not right now.
Right. Exactly right. You never know. So now you get to tell me all the fun stuff like, hey, there's how much money we spend, because I'm looking at, $100,000 for your husband for next year, plus your $5,700 a month. How will that do? Will that be enough money for you guys to live on?
That it probably would. We're thinking that our estimated budget as we go into 2024 will be about probably 10 to 12,000. Plus, the thing that we benefit from right now is that we do not pay housing.
Oh, because you're working for the government. Okay.
Yes.
So
we will also have to put in housing, which will probably be another $3,500. So where are we at? About $15,000 a month.
That'll do it. That's a real number. Okay. Do you own any property anywhere? I know you're getting housing, but do you have like a second home or something?
Yes,
What's your story?
So we have a primary residence, and it has a value of about $1 million. We just refinanced in 2021. So we had it appraised then, and it appraised for $1,050,000.
What's the outstanding mortgage amount?
Mortgage is, $550 outstanding.
Okay. Do you happen to know the refi interest rate? I bet that was nice and juicy and low.
Well, not as nice and juicy probably as you expect, because it was not our primary residence at the time, and it is a rental. We could not benefit from the really, really low rates, but we did get it at 3.375.
Oh, that's perfect. Don't worry. Is that a 30-year or is that? Okay, great. Okay. So it was a rental, but it's no longer a rental, or is it?
It is a rental, and it will continue to be a rental. We do not plan to move back into that residence after I retire.
Oh.
And we move on to the sabbatical time. So we get about $5,200 in rent. That's after property management fees.
How does that do in terms of the covering the cost of the home? Like out of that $5,200 a month, what's left over?
We do get cash. It depends on if we have to do maintenance or anything like that. Our mortgage payment is $3,300. So we bring in some cash on that, and that's actually. So
if I say like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, would that be fair? Like
that would be fair. There's a little bit more.
Keep going. I'm listening. I'm turning my page over. There it is. Okay, continue.
So we do own 2 cabins in the forest. And when we're in the United States, we use those. We're not always in the United States. But right now, when we're not using them, they are rented as vacation rentals. And our annual net income on those before depreciation ranges between $25,000 and $35,000.
But should I count on that do you think it'll be that much if you are on sabbatical? Would you use those, one of those cabins? What do you think?
We probably won't. So,
okay.
We calculated that when we looked at the range for this, we kind of calculated using potential that we might be there for a short period of time, but we don't have a plan to be there extended period of time.
Any other income producing assets? We'll get to your actual assets, but any other real estate or income producing assets right now?
Not real estate. We just have our investment funds.
Okay. We're going to do investments next, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So 2024, here's what happens. You're going to get a pension that will be $5,700 a month. And then you will also have rental income from your primary residence of, should I say 1,000 a month, let's say, or 2,000? I'm going to say, let's just say 1,000. Let's say 1,500 a month. How about that? 1,500 a month. Okay. So that's rental there. And then from the cabins, we have another $2,000 a month. And then we also have your husband's income. Will he be an employee? Will he be a contractor? What do you think what is that going to look like?
No, he has his own company.
Okay, great. It is fair if I say 100,000 for him. You get your medical through your service through the federal government, and that will continue, right?
Yes, and that will continue. And that's one of the, excellent benefits we have with our pension.
So if your husband, after he pays his taxes, maybe he clears, I don't know, $6,000 a month. Is that right? Ish? $5,000 a month?
Yeah, I would say that's a good estimate.
Let's say 5, just to be conservative. We'll get back to Kathy's question in just a second. If you would like to join us on the air, it's as easy as going to our website, JillOnMoney.com. And I know you've bookmarked it. So isn't that great? We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are trying to help you make better financial decisions. Let's get back to Kathy's retirement question. So now I'm feeling good about this. I mean, what I'm looking at right here is you're 53, you get this money. This is all money that is basically going to stay in place until how much longer do you think your husband's going to work? I mean, I feel like now you're fine because you basically have 14 and change of cash coming in for 2024. But that's, of course, with your husband popping in with $5,000 a month. So, you're young. So how long do you think we can count on him doing that? Or how long will it be until you think you might actually do something else to earn some income? Not as much as you were.
So I think my husband has longevity, I think, in his work life. He loves the work he does. He works for himself. He can dictate what he wants to do. So I think he will take himself well into 60s.
Okay.
Potentially to the 70s.
So if I say this, Kathy, you're 53 now, and at 62, there's going to be a little dip. So can we just look at a period of 53 to 62, right? And then we're going to look at 62 to 70. Those are going to be two distinct periods of your life, and then 70 and beyond. Okay. So I feel like from 53 to 62, you guys are set, forgetting about any other assets. Just income-wise, you're set. Presuming, I don't know how much these vacation cabins are worth, but, if they're cash flowing $2,000 a month, that's a lot. So how much could these things be worth? I don't know. Are they in some fabulous, you said in the forest, I'm sort of thinking Sherwood Forest or something. How much are they worth?
They're worth combined about $330,000.
And you really want to keep them, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there's no mortgage on those?
No.
Okay. So you get the income. You see how I got to these income numbers? Do the pension, do the rental for the primary, the cabins, your husband's income. Looks like you're fine for this next 9-year period. Are you on board with that?
Yep.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the assets you have, because basically I'm going to need those assets to figure out how little you need to work and whether you actually need to do anything at age 62, either of you. So tell us about the assets.
Okay. So in retirement accounts, if we look at traditional and Roth.
Now, give me the traditional first.
We have $1.4 million.
Roth?
$279,000.
Let's call it 280. I'm giving you $1,000 today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. What else?
We have brokerage, a mix of mostly funds and some stock.
Mm-hmm.
313.
Okay.
And then we have an emergency fund and some money for sabbatical. That's about $116,000. That's cash. And then in our real estate accounts, from the income we have there, we have about $5,000 in there. That's one of the questions. We think we need $25,000 for emergency. We've got a lot sitting in there. We just don't know what to do with it.
So you basically have no problems. Goodbye. Okay.
Not sure about that.
No, I mean, well, you might have other problems. You don't have any financial issues. If we presume that you go on sabbatical, you will make other money. What's your generalized game plan for this?
You know, that we have that conversation, and some days I have a plan and some days I don't. I agree. I don't think I can go the rest of my life with not working. I don't see myself going back into an office environment. I've been doing that for quite a long time now, and I am looking to do something different, maybe something creative, something that is not so tied to a physical location. So I would think maybe part-time work. I really have a hard time trying to envision what I could earn. I have spent so long now, 24 years with the federal government, that I don't know what life is like outside and what I can actually, what kind of income potential I have. But I would think some part-time work, a couple $1,000s a month, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like if we looked at age, say 62 to 70. I mean, first of all, right now, I'm going to presume you don't really need to make any money from 53 to 62. Whatever you make is really just adding to your liquid taxable assets. You got that bunch of money in traditional, no sweat, right? And you've got the brokerage account and you've got this non-liquid fund. You don't have a financial problem. Even if you look at age 62 to 70, what you're really thinking about, what I'm looking at there is I'm saying, okay, the big issue at those years is that the pension benefit goes down, right? So at age 62, my pension benefit goes to $4,500, right? But I still get the rental. I still get the cabins. Let's say that, let's say your husband even works like even half of that. Like instead of $5,000 a month, it's $2,500 a month from 62 to 70. I don't know. And let's say you don't even work at 62. You really do call it quits. Now you've got 7,000 of the 15 that you need. I'm going to do this all in today's dollars. So what you really need is another $8,000 a month, right? So go to your asset base, right? And you say, you have $1 million in non-retirement assets and then 1.67 in retirement assets. Okay. That's a lot of money. I think that because you should feel free to extract that $8,000 a month from probably the traditional account from age 62 to 70. Take that $80,000 a year that you need out of it for age 62 to 70. Then that's it. You're kind of done at that point. Even if you were to plow through a bunch of the traditional money, you would not need to really touch much more, because then you're going to see a Social Security benefit that's going to kind of be sweet. And then your husband's going to have his Social Security benefit. So to me, this is a pretty good story. Or if you decide to sell some of these assets, you'll have the cash and you'll use that to spend down. So when I said to you, you have no problem, you have no problem. Literally no problem.
Not to mention that in the next 7-ish years, these assets are going to come close to doubling.
Exactly. Even if they don't, even if it's just another 30%, that's fine. I am assuming, I want you to go with it seems to me like you're probably the kind of person who likes worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, you're fine. You're totally fine. Now, that also presumes that, you're not really making that much money, that you're not really saving that much more money right now. Your husband really does go down to 100, which who knows, maybe he will, maybe he won't. Your financial life is sweet. You know what that means? It's all on you to figure out what you want to do next. I mean, sometimes actually the abundance of choices can paralyze you.
Can I pose another question, which is a choice that we have to make right now?
Yeah.
That we have really we haven't gotten into this question. Term life insurance.
Yeah.
My pension offers the ability to continue with term life insurance. We're just not sure if we need to do that, or are we self-insured?
What happens to your pension if you were to drop dead 2 days after retiring?
Well, that is also a question that we have to answer when we make the final decision. There are survivor benefits available. what I gave you there with the
Your
pension,
life only.
Yeah, no, that was 50% survivor benefit. He would get a quarter of my pension.
Okay.
But that's basically $300 a month out of my pension if we want to go with the 50% survivor benefit. There is full survivor benefit, but that would be $600 out of the pension. And we just didn't think that made sense. In order to actually get the health benefits, though, we do have to choose a survivor benefit.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. Yeah. So yes, you should do that. Joint in 50% is probably okay, especially because he is a little bit younger and probably is going to keep working. Are you comfortable with that, Mark? The joint in 50%?
The full survivor benefit would be an additional $600?
No, that's just, well, it would be another $300 on top of what the pension amount I get. We've been calculating it at 50. It would go down to $4,300 if we did full survivor benefit.
Mark, what are you thinking?
Difference of $300. I personally would do it.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe what we would do is instead of doing the insurance, maybe do the full survivor benefit and take the haircut. You have a lot of income and you have a lot of money. And if he has longevity in his family, as you said, then it may be a better bet for you to just feel like, okay, if anything happened to me, it's fine. He's covered. If you'd like to join us on the air, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll do the rest.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. And you know what? We have so much great content that lives on our website. You should check it out. We've got 2 podcasts. I write a blog. We've got videos of my TV appearances on CBS News. You can sign up for the free weekly newsletter. And of course, you can subscribe to our brand new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. And you can also buy my book, The Great Money Reset, available at one of your favorite booksellers, or just go online. We've got links to everything. Okay, right now, let's go talk to Patrick from Illinois. Hello, Patrick. What brings you to us?
Just, I guess, like everybody else, last couple of years, I've really been thinking about trying to retire. So I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on our situation and if you think I can do so in about 5 years.
Okay. How old are you, Patrick?
I am currently 51 years old.
You want to retire when you're 56? Forget it. Next, new caller. No, I'm only kidding. Okay. So you want to retire when you're 56. Okay. Is there some reason? Is that like a magic number? Are you part of a pension system or something like that?
Yeah, I am part of a pension system, and the availability for me to retire at 55 is available to me. So I'm really thinking of taking them up on their offer.
What would you receive if you retired at age 55?
It should be right around $8,000 a month.
Wow. Okay. Are you married, single? What do you got?
Married.
Okay.
Wife.
How old is she?
She is 55.
She's 55 right now. You married a little bit older lady?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Is she working as well?
She is working.
Does she want to retire in, 4 or 5 years with you, or is she going to retire prior to that?
No, I don't think she would retire any earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible she could work longer. I don't know her total thoughts on it yet.
You guys should talk to each other. I bet you'd find something out interesting.
Yes,
okay, so let's just say at age 60, is she entitled to a pension?
No, she's not.
Okay. So how much do you guys earn together?
I think I said I make around $160,000 a year, and she makes around $130,000.
Okay, 160 and 130. Do you have kids?
2 kids.
How old?
And one is 21 and the other is 17.
I guess we have to feed and clothe the 17-year-old because still in high school. Is 21-year-old out on his or her own in college? What's the status of these two?
Finishing up school, college this year. Not sure where we're going from here. Hopefully find a job.
And not sure, but okay.
The 17-year-old is finishing up high school right now and hopefully headed to school in the fall.
And how will we pay for college? Is this have they assumed debt? Are you guys paying for it? Is there money set aside?
We had a little bit of money set aside in 529 plans, but other than that, we've just kind of been fitting the bill for most of it. They are taking a small loan just so they have a little skin in the game.
Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about from the combined income. So you're contributing to a pension plan. Do you also make a contribution into a defined contribution plan, like a 403B, a 457? Do you do anything with that?
Yeah, we both have 401ks. I am currently contributing right around 10%, and my wife's doing the same. We had pulled back in the last few years since college started to help pay for that. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
And those are both traditional, not Roth?
Traditional, no.
How much money is in each of those accounts, those two 401ks?
So she has almost $1 million, and I am close to 800,000.
All right, 800 grand and 1 million. Now, what else you got? You got an emergency reserve fund? You got some money in cash floating around?
Not really. I mean, we've got a little bit of money in savings, around $10,000, but we've never really had a ton of savings. I think we've probably been putting most of it into our retirement funds and the kids.
Okay. Yeah, those darn kids. They always want to eat. It's crazy. What about non-retirement accounts? Do you have a brokerage account? Do you have an IRA from previous employer? Anything else?
Nothing substantial to speak of.
Do you guys own your home?
We still have a loan on it, and it is worth around $300,000, and we owe, I think, right around $95,000 on it still. Hoping to pay that off before we retire.
Don't worry about it. What's the rate on that $95,000?
Well, we've got a 10-year loan right now.
No wonder you have no cash flow.
For 1.9%. So
when is the 10 years up? That's crazy.
We got about 8 years left on it.
All right. So no additional payments, please. No additional payments. How much money left in the 529 plans, by the way?
Well, the one is drained, but she's graduating here. And then we've got about $25K in the younger.
Do you think the younger one? So both these kids, state schools, community college, private schools, where are they landing on that?
Well, state school, most likely. Trying to think, tuition's usually around $25,000 a year, I think.
So are you thinking like get this kid through college and then retire, essentially?
That's kind of my plan, as long as they follow along with it.
I mean, you make a lot of money together, right? Which is not to say that you don't have a lot of expenses, but if you kind of stripped out what you think your need would be, right? If we said, okay, that we make almost $300,000 together. We're not going to make retirement contributions later, and the kids will be done, and you'll have this $8,000 a month in pension. But how much more money do you think you would need to float your real hopes of living kind of a rich and rewarding retirement?
Well, I think that's the big question. It just seems like it's so hard to figure out right now because we've got so many expenses that I think are going to go away.
Yes.
And depending on how much the kids still need after they get out of college.
How much do you think you're paying out of pocket for college right now?
We're paying around $20,000 a year for that, plus some living expenses.
25, fair to say, like 25 grand-ish?
Yeah, at least.
Okay. We'll get back to Patrick in just a moment. If you've got a financial question, just hit that website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. And what are we trying to do here? We're trying to help you make your next best financial decision. It doesn't have to be optimal. It has to be the best decision for you. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Let's finish up our conversation with Patrick. Let's thumb through some of these numbers. If you make $290 together, you both put 10% into your 401k, and you don't hopefully have to pay for college. You're almost done. You'll almost be done with that mortgage, and it's a big number. This is what I think you need. I'm thinking 12 grand a month is what I'm thinking. Does that sound high or low to you?
I mean, I think that's probably about right. I mean, I did some addition of just some bills that we have, the electric and gas and stuff like that. And, cars, gas. And I mean, it was getting to $80,000+ or more. So, and I'm sure there's other stuff, I obviously missed. So.
And did you include the mortgage in that?
No, I did not.
So what's the mortgage payment? I'm putting the mortgage in there, but what's the mortgage payment about?
It's like $1,600.
Yeah. Okay. So, right. So if you had, let's say 85,000 of like stuff, and is that like fun stuff, or is that not so much fun? Do you know what I mean? Like, is that the basics?
Yeah. I mean, that includes, I kind of figured, spending $100 a week going out to dinner and stuff like that. So.
$100 a week? Where? That's like lunch for me in New York City sometimes. All right.
On the weekends going out to dinner. So.
All right. So you think that maybe I'm high, that maybe 12 grand is high?
No, I think that's probably enough for us to,
let's say 10 to 12.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 10 to 12. Okay. So here's my question to you. Are you guys going to both be entitled to Social Security?
Yes.
Okay. How much will your Social Security benefit be at your full retirement ages?
Well, I looked it up the other day, and it actually, since the cost of living adjustment, it had gone up like $300 or $400. So it says it's $4,600 now.
Okay. For you or for her? Or
for me.
Okay.
For me.
4,600. And what about hers?
We have not looked hers up yet. And
okay.
I would assume it's a little bit less than that.
All right. Let's say 4. I'm going to go crazy. Okay. So what we need to do is really just say, okay, in 5 years, 4 or 5 years, you retire. You've got this $8 grand a month. She may or may not retire. So what happens between age, 55, 56 for you and your full retirement age? So what happens for those 10 years? You've got to fill in a gap, right? So
Correct.
you'll have your pension coming in. How do we fill in that gap? Well, chances are what we will do is you'll have to pull money from your 401k plan. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I think that's a fine idea. You can use that, take the money out every year. You'll pay the tax that's due and you'll fund the gap. That's easy enough to do. And in fact, you might end up, when you look at this, down the line, you might pull like a lot of money out of this account. It might be that you're like, oh, I'm spending a whole bunch down in this account. Like maybe you're going to spend the whole thing down before you collect Social Security. I don't care. That's fine with me. I really don't think that's a big deal. But what I do think is important is that before you make this decision, we do need to try to beef up your emergency reserve fund and have a little cash. I do think that's going to be important. And so if for some reason you have lower expenses in a given period of time, or, you need to put some money somewhere, I might try to build that up a little bit. I might even pull back on retirement plan contribution. What are your matches?
Well, I actually don't have a match. They just contribute 4%.
Oh, all right.
And she gets a 3% match.
Well, what if you pulled back to like a 5% contribution to your 401k and take that money, pay the tax on the money? I know it sucks, but pay the tax on it and start funding that emergency reserve fund and replenishing that. Your top bracket is 24%, right? So pay the tax that's due on that. And then, the way that this changes, the way that you don't have to pull a lot of money out of your 401k is one of two things. One is that you stockpile cash, you have money to spend, and then you can delay pulling money out of your 401k. The other is maybe your wife keeps working, and she keeps putting money in. But I think that both of you can, I think that the idea is if I'm going to have 10 or 12 years of a period of time where I'm not going to be receiving as much income or any, you'll have your pension income. You need money to float those years. And the idea behind having an adequate emergency reserve fund and then building up your non-retirement savings and investing is about not having to tap into your retirement plan assets unless you want to. And maybe you will want to. Maybe by the time you retire, the value of your 401k is $900,000 or $1 million. And maybe what we want to do is try to get that money out of there when your income has been reduced, to the pension amount plus your wife's income. But you're still going to be in a pretty high tax bracket. I mean, you may drop down into 22%. Not sure. You may. That would be fine if we could dribble money out that way. But I think you need more cash on hand. I really do. I think that essentially when you look ahead at Social Security, waiting till age 67 or 70 will be completely doable for you. You'll have this paid off house. Otherwise, I think you'll be in great shape. Okay, we still have a little bit more time, so don't turn away just yet. This is the Jill on Money Show, trying to take the mystery out of your financial life, one listener at a time. Jill on Money will be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to answer your questions about your financial life. Maybe it's a job question. Maybe it's a retirement question. Maybe it's an investment question. Whatever it is, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. This question is from Denise, who writes, I have a savings account for my daughter, which we were going to use for college, but she decided not to go. I was thinking it might be better to move it to a Roth IRA. What do you think? Well, Denise, I love the idea. Long-term savings is great, but your daughter has to have earned income in order to contribute to a Roth IRA. So maybe if she is working, maybe she's bailing out on the college thing, she is working, the Roth IRA is a good idea, but also maybe she would need the money for something else. Will she be moving out soon? Will she need a new car? These are the kinds of questions you can have with her and talk to her about it. Involve her in this process. This is a wonderful opportunity to help her educate herself about how to manage money. Think about it this way. You can talk to her about her short-term goals, her intermediate goals, her longer-term goals. You can explain the difference between a Roth and a traditional. You can talk to her about the general concepts of investing and maybe even help her find higher yielding accounts for this money that may be used in the near term. So all this is to say that this is a great moment for both of you to come together and have a real conversation about how she is going to take control of her financial life. Okay, that is it. That is the program. And I am so delighted that you guys tune in every single week. Our music at Jill on Money is composed by Joel Goodman. Karen Kranick is our web queen. And Mark Talercio is the best executive producer in the world. All of our content lives on our website. That's jillonmoney.com. Check out all the cool things that are there. And most importantly, do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.